Lord, you are so amazing.
Lord, you are so amazing.
Lord, you are strong.
Well, thank you for staying with us on the prescription window. We're so happy to have you viewing this program regularly. If you're just joining the program now, we are talking about crime here in St. Vincent and The Grenadines, the escalation of crime. And in the earlier part of this, we looked at the violent crime and we looked at property crime. And we wanted to move into this section where we talked a little bit about the factors that are affecting crime. What stirs it, what causes it, and why is it escalating? And a lot of people probably are going to put it down to a matter of morality. And I know sometimes we can have a reductionist view or a very simplistic view of what causes crime. But I want to say on this program that from where I stand, that there's no single cause. Again, I want to emphasize that. I really don't think there's any single cause that we can put our finger on to say that this is what is causing the escalation of crime, property crime and violent crimes here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I mean, it would be really easy if we could identify a single cause and then we can begin to channel our resources and channel our time and channel our energies into that single cause, address that, and therefore, voila, we would have that problem of crime fixed. Crime is not going to be an easy situation to address and to fix and to minimize simply because it is so multifaceted and there's so many different causes. So again, we're going to, in this section, begin to look at a little bit of what causes the crime. And yes, I can put it down to the breakdown of morality, values and disciplines, but it's not going to be that or that simple. There are other things that are contributing to crime, the escalation of crime. Why would a guy leave his home or where he is on one day and go up to somebody else's house and break in? Why would a guy tease a girl walking down the road, and if she pays no attention to him, why would he lay his hand on her? Why would two men jump out of a car and grab a girl and put her in the car and beat her and throw her out of the car? Why would these things happen? Why would someone assault someone they love in their very own home? Domestic violence I'm talking about here. Why would someone do that? Why would someone see you with your cell phone and envy you or try to deprive you of it? Why would someone stake out your home and when you are away try to break into your home and deprive you of your property? It's got to be more than a breakdown. For sure it's a breakdown of morality, but it's got to be more than that. There's some other things that relate because there's some people who do these things and there's some other people who just absolutely restrain and able to discipline themselves or restrain themselves from getting involved in such activities, criminal activities. So outside of morality, what else is there? Of course, there's the issue of education. In fact, a lot of studies have been done that correlate. There's a negative correlation between education, the level of education, and the incidence of crime, where it seems like that the less education one has, the more prone they are to committing crime. Now, I have to be very careful because I really don't want to stereotype. And I did look at quite a number of studies that veer off in this direction, that crime is a function of lack of education. I want to say that again, that crime is a function of lack of education or poor education. But again, I don't want to take that simplistic, I don't want to take that narrow and very simplistic view that is simply pigeonhole someone to say that because you have little education, you are stereotyped and you are basically set aside to become a criminal. That is not true. But again, I want to emphasize that there's some validity to the studies that seem to indicate that crime is related to low education, and particularly certain crimes, especially crimes of theft and crimes of robbery and certain types of violent crimes are associated with a lower level of education. Again, outside of morality and education, income levels. It seems that some neighborhood, because they're impoverished, have a high incidence of crime than other neighborhoods. Middle income neighborhoods, upper income neighborhoods, the residents don't generally go around slapping off each other, pulling out guns at each other, or breaking into each other's homes. Sometimes this tends to happen in the more impoverished, in the poorer neighborhood. You have an incidence of that. So what we're doing there, we're looking at dual causes. We're looking at income levels and poverty. We're also looking at the neighborhood quality. At one and the same time, we're saying that the lower these two things are, the higher the incidence of crime is going to be. You know, you have to remember my premise. My premise is that there is no single cause to crime. My premise is that upon investigation and upon studies, different scholars have been able to associate some of these factors with crime, some of them a positive correlation, some of them a negative correlation. Interestingly, one study found that there has been an increase, which is no rocket science, basically. There has been an increase in consumerism, and the more we have consumerism, or the increase or the trends towards consumerism in the 21st century, buying and having things and having products, the more we have a rise in individualism, and the more someone, their identity is more wrapped up not in community and not in association and not in relationships, but people's identity tend to become, in an age of consumerism, people's identity tend to be wrapped up in how many different products that they have. And when their poverty, or when their education, or when their background does not allow them to have all of these different products, the cell phones and the iPad and the flat screen television, and what they consider to be status things. And in an age of consumerism, where your identity and your worth is so wrapped up into these things, when you don't have them and you can't afford them, people go and they steal them. They steal the gold chain because they want to wear big links, and they steal the watches because they want to look flashy. So consumerism has been associated also with crime. So remember what I said, that there's no one single factor affecting crime. Had there been just one factor, we can zero in and isolate it and say, if we deal with better neighborhoods, if we make people's neighborhoods better housing, if we provide people with better housing, if we facilitate better housing, that there will be a lower incidence of crime. The crime rate will go down. If we increase education, if we make education available to all, if all Vincentians under 18 have free access to education, that once we implement this, that the crime rate is going to go down. It would be really wonderful if we can zero in on a single incident and a single cause, a single factor, and deal with it and find that the crime rate is minimized. Crime is very, very complex, and that's why it has been with us for so long, and that's why it is escalating, because the factors causing it are morphing, and as these are morphing, they become more elusive for us to be able to zero in and to make a dent. There are many different theories that explain and examine the incidence of crime. Why do people commit crime? What causes them? Can we figure out why an individual is more prone to commit crime than another individual? Of course, the Marxist theory, which is an old theory, I used to be very sympathetic towards the Marxist theory at one point that dealt with economics and impoverishment of a man, and the systematic impoverishment of an individual that would drive him to commit crime. I lost a little bit of faith in that because if this was something that was true, then it would be a phenomenon that would only show its head in capitalist society. But whenever we have this in former communist societies, we know that even socialism or Marxism and that kind of ideology will not prevent crime. It seems to be more than the Marxist theory would premise or put forward. You know, some people put it down to simply biological factors. It's in my genes. My daddy before did it. My daddy before my daddy did it. My grandfather did it. It is something that is somehow inherent. It's a type A behavior. It is something to do with the XY chromosomes. It is something to do with testosterone. It's something to do with how my brain is wired. That's fatalistic thinking. But interestingly, there are theories out there that says that certain individuals, by their biological makeup, are more prone prone to commit crime than others. What are you going to do then? Give them a lobotomy? You're going to take out their brain? So it's interesting when we begin to look at different theories of crime, and you begin to think, and just in terms of policy making and guiding your society, how are you going to impact the crime rate? What are you going to do? Some think that the environment where people grow up, what you're exposed to, that and these social theories of crime that would indicate that if a man grows up in a particular neighborhood where the guys are doing this, the people are hanging on the block, they're smoking, they're drinking, and they deprive people of their property, that a boy growing up in that neighborhood, sooner or later, by the time he gets into his teens, he will be doing exactly what the other guys in that neighborhood are doing. So we have these kind of behavioral theories. Of course, we have conflict theories that the more that you pressure a man, the more you oppress a man, the more you victimize a man, sooner or later, victimized, oppressed people will lash out and begin to do certain things, begin to take your property, begin to deface your property, begin to attack you, begin to attack others. So there are these theories of crime. In Romans chapter 12, though, I want to propose this. In Romans chapter 12, the Bible does address this kind of theorizing. It says, listen, yes, you might have some biological influences. Yes, you might have some environmental influences. Yes, you might have some education problems, or it might be because of your income or your neighborhood where you are. So you grow up in a family with poor income. That does not predestine you to become a criminal and to go rob other people. Listen, you grow up in a place where the housing is below par. That doesn't give you an excuse to go into other people's houses and deprive them of stuff and put their stuff in your house or to sell their stuff. What Romans chapter 12 and verse 2 says, don't conform to the pattern that you find yourself in. Don't do that. Don't conform to the pattern of this world. Don't. You have to learn to transform. You might be in whether it's your gene pool or it is your behavior, your surroundings, your housing, your friends, your peer influences, or the conflict that you're in. You don't have to conform to that. You have to transform. The onus is upon you to say you are not going to be like this. Listen, we're going to take a break here. That's a whole lot to swallow. When we come back, we are going to begin to zero in on only one of these, and that is the whole matter of poverty and how it relates to crime.